Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in to another episode of The Simple Truth. This is another news update. As I always tell you, I do my best to give you the simple truth of things that are happening in our environment today, things that are going on in our world around us, things that you may not be paying close attention to. However, they have a profound effect on what is going on and what is happening in the world today. I just received an email going through the different news sources. As I always tell you, I always look at the different news sources and I find different stories that are important or that kind of stick out. And I try to share them with you so you can have some understanding of various different things. Well, today, what I got is I have the article here and I'm going to read it. And it says New York cops kill unarmed teen, tensions high. This is dated Tuesday, February 7th, 2012. That's today. And it says tensions remained as high as the number of questions left outstanding late Monday as the family of 18-year-old teen Ramarley Graham desperately sought answers as to what would warrant police to charge into their Bronx home and fatally open fire on the unarmed youth as his traumatized grandmother and 6-year-old brother both helplessly looked on. Video footage since obtained in the shooting shows Graham entering his home only to be followed by as many as 6 narcotics officers who immediately began kicking down the door before charging inside and chasing Graham into his family's bathroom, where he was hit at least once in the chest with bullets from a 9mm Glock and later pronounced dead at nearby Montefiore Medical Center. Hope I got that correct. The Reverend Al Sharpton and Grammy Award-winning singer Roberta Flack have since joined the chorus of those demanding answers, with each pledging at least $500 to help bury the youth, and Sharpton promising to raise even more funds through his National Action Network organization. Let me just say something right here. It's awful funny how when these grand standers see the opportunity to be so-called helpful, they want to parade upon the media. They want to get out in front of the media is what I'm trying to say. And then all of a sudden, now this cause for this young man is so important and that they're going to raise funds. Well, my question is, what happened when this youth may be having trouble? This youth could have possibly been someone who, because of financial situation, was out doing something he may not have needed to do, maybe doing some illicit, illegal activity. But where was this concern for this young man prior to this newsworthy situation happening? Let me get back into the article here. It said a teary Roberta Flack, "I only know what I read." And I responded. It was a heartfelt moment. Officer Richard Haste, since identified as the shooter, has been stripped of his gun and badge and placed on modified duty, along with Sergeant Scott Morris. Though both men contend that they observed Graham and 2 accomplices complete a drug transaction, each now possibly faces criminal charges for launching a deadly assault on the victim. They don't follow their own rules and regulations, Delmar Scott, which is Graham's brother, said of the officers who fatally wounded his brother. They think the badge they carry on their chest gives them the right to kill. Scott told the New York Post, adding that Graham don't carry no weapons. That's the quote that the brother said. Just as disturbing as Graham's seemingly unwarranted and inescapably untimely demise are reports of what police are alleged to have perpetrated in its immediate aftermath. Patricia Hartley, the victim's 58-year-old grandmother, later told authorities charging officers threw her to the ground and stuck a gun in her face. The weeping granny added she witnessed the shooting up close and personal after following cops into the area of the tiny bathroom and was later denied her heart medication and held at a police station house for nearly 8 hours, all in an apparent attempt to intimidate her into not relaying to authorities all of what she saw. I asked the district attorney a simple question, and that was, is this woman being held against her will? Said local Assemblyman Eric Stevenson, who aided in eventually having Hartley released. Within 10 minutes of his inquiry, she was released. The entire issue, however, remains far from resolved. Graham's parents joined Sharpton during his weekly Saturday morning radio show, and though they declined to speak with reporters, the desperate, distressed, and chagrined looks on their faces spoke volumes. We need to examine this case from every possible angle, said Sharpton. There has to be a sense of equal accountability. If I can come to tell black kids to abide by the law, we have to be able to tell the police to abide by the law as well, unquote. When pressed over the weekend about the shooting, NYPD Police Commissioner Ray Kelly admitted the story seemed more than worthy of internal probe. Obviously, it's a very, very traumatic situation for the grandmother, he said. She was present when this happened, and she certainly should have been shown a sensitivity to that issue. The evidence will be presented to a grand jury. We see an unarmed person being shot, and that always concerns us. Family members added some of the money raised from donations will be used to fly Graham's grandfather to New York from Jamaica so that he will be able to attend the grandson's memorial. On the night of the shooting, more than 200 family members and friends from around Graham's old neighborhood marched to the nearby 47th Station House to protest the shooting. For some, the Graham shooting brought back painful memories of the 2006 fatal police shooting of 23-year-old unnamed Queens victim Sean Bell. Slated to be married later that day, Bell was slaughtered in a 50-bullet barrage by police officers who also contended that they thought he posed a danger. The 3 officers ultimately charged in the case were all later acquitted. Ladies and gentlemen, it is amazing, remarkable and amazing that those that are charged to protect and serve are serving all right. They're serving up bullets by the drove. And innocent people are falling victim to this situation. I'm not saying that the young man that was involved in this case, I don't know the young man and I don't know his history, but I'm not saying that he may or may not have been doing something he shouldn't have been doing. But is it that important to bring a suspect under quote unquote control by utilizing bullets to put him down and threatening the well-being of those that are around him just because they are at the scene? Ladies and gentlemen, we need to take a very close look at what's going on and in our world today and around us, and be cautiously aware of the things that we do, and be sure that we are teaching our children to stay out of harm's way by not allowing them to participate in such activities. Well, many will say, well, I don't have total control over my child. I don't know what they're doing all the time. As a parent, it is important that we monitor what our children are doing. Take time out to investigate and talk to them and see what's going on in their lives so that a situation like this cannot come about because we were not aware as parents of what our children were doing. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the simple truth. And the simple truth of the whole matter is as parents or even as mentors in our communities, what are we doing to help our children, the children that are in our neighborhoods, stay away from the negativity? Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the simple truth, and this was a very important news report. And as I always tell you, the simple things are oftentimes the most profound, but yet they are the most difficult to do as well as to put into practice. I'll leave a link for this article so you can go and read it yourself. But please, please make sure that you join us on our next episode, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon.